That night the phone rang. The voice was familiar. "You're going to write a suicide report for this girl. No questions asked." 80-year-old retired forensic pathologist Dr. Robert Anderson tells us about the horror he experienced when examining 19-year-old Emily's body in 1987. The girl had been raped, beaten, then murdered, but the report would have to say suicide. Good evening, I'm Michael Carter. The reason I'm here with you live tonight is extraordinary. 80-year-old retired forensic pathologist Dr. Robert Anderson says he can no longer carry the burden of conscience he's lived with during his 40-year career. And tonight, for the first time, with audio recordings and documents, he will reveal the darkest secrets of America's justice system. Dr. Anderson is here in our studio. He has 40 years worth of notebooks, documents, and audio recordings. "I'm too old now," he says. "I can't take these secrets to my grave." Dr. Robert Anderson, born 1943, Harvard Medical School graduate, served as a forensic pathologist for exactly 40 years, from 1970 to 2010. According to official records, he performed over 12,000 autopsies during his career. "But," says Dr. Anderson with a trembling weariness in his voice, "what you won't see in the official records is this. Of those 12,000 autopsies, I lied in 347 of them. I failed to stand by 347 families. I protected 347 killers." How is this number so precise? Because Dr. Anderson secretly took notes every time he wrote a false report. "I knew I'd have to account for it someday," he says. "For 40 years, every night I lived with this nightmare." "I wrote my first false report in 1972, says Dr. Anderson, looking at the old notebook in his hands. "I was only 29 years old. I was an idealistic young man. I believed in justice." He was working at the Chicago Medical Examiner's office at the time. "One night, my supervisor, Dr. Kenneth Parker, called me. 'You're going to write natural death for this file,' he said. 'No questions.' I said, 'But Professor, this man died from blunt force trauma to the head.'" Dr. Parker's response was horrifying. "Robert, if you want to stay in this business for long, you'll learn not to see certain truths." That night when I went home, there was an envelope at my door with $5,000. That was 6 months' salary at the time. And that's when I understood. This is a system. But the real breaking point came in 1987. A 19-year-old girl. Her name was Emily Williams. She was a college student. She'd been kidnapped from her family, missing for days. Her body was found in Lake Michigan. Dr. Anderson's voice breaks. "When I saw the body, my God, I'll never forget that scene. The girl had been horribly tortured, raped. Her face was unrecognizable. Then a single bullet to the head." But the phone rang. The voice was familiar. Detective Captain John Peterson from Chicago, PD. "Dr. Anderson," he said, "you're going to write a suicide report for this girl. Death by drowning. You haven't seen anything else." "But Captain," I said, "this girl has a bullet hole in her head. That hole doesn't exist anymore," he said. "Tomorrow morning you'll look again, and that hole was never there." And indeed, when he looked at the body the next morning, the bullet hole had disappeared. Someone had tampered with the corpse overnight. They'd sealed the hole in the skull, as if it had never happened. "Have you ever wondered," says Dr. Anderson, "what's behind those suspicious death news stories you read in the papers? The statistics are shocking. In 40 years, from 1970 to 2010, there were officially 1,247 suspicious death cases in Chicago. 892 of them were closed as natural death or suicide. I wrote 347 of those 892. So who wrote the other 545? Other doctors like me, Dr. Marcus Thompson, Dr. Sarah Chen, Dr. David Rodriguez, we were all part of the same system. This is how the system worked. Powerful people, politicians, businessmen, crime bosses, eliminate someone who's a problem. Then the phone rings. We'd change the report either with money or threats. Where did the money come from? Sometimes it was left in envelopes at the door. Sometimes it was deposited into bank accounts as promotion bonuses. Sometimes it was given to my wife as flower money. But the real control was through threats. I knew what would happen to my family. Dr. Anderson begins telling about other cases in his notebook. 1979, journalist Frank Hayes. Case. He was a very famous journalist. He was investigating a major government corruption scandal. When he was found dead, there were 7 holes made with an awl in his skull. But I wrote heart attack in the report. 1983, businessman Nicholas Brown case. He was a very wealthy businessman, but he'd done business with the wrong people. There were 14 stab wounds on his body. I wrote death by falling down stairs in the report. 1994, teacher Nancy Miller case. She was a rural teacher. She was going to report the corruption happening in the village to the inspection team. She was raped and murdered. I wrote wild animal attack in the report. After each case, the police chief at the time, Captain Mark Wilson, would call, "Dr. Anderson, case closed," as if nothing happened. The reason I'm in the studio tonight, says Dr. Anderson, is that I'm old now. Maybe I have 1 to 2 years left. If I don't name these names, they'll wait for my death. Dr. Anderson pulls out a list from his file. Police Chief Mark Wilson. Made me write false reports for 40 years. Now retired, owns a villa in Miami. District Attorney James Miller. From 1985 to 1995, he approved every false report. Now retired, living in Washington, D.C. Dr. Kenneth Parker. He was my supervisor. He taught me the system. Died of a heart attack in 1998, but before he died, he told me, "Robert, you know nothing." Detective Captain John Peterson. He was the one who called me in Emily's case, now retired police inspector. How much money did I receive over 40 years? Says Dr. Anderson. I have the figures written in my notebook. I received a total of $2.7 million. I didn't deposit $1.9 million of this money in the bank. I kept it at home because I was afraid to use it. This money is still in my house. After my death, my family will distribute this money to the victim families. The list is ready. The victim families list is long. There's a list of 347 families, each family's file number, date, how much money I received, all recorded. The biggest payment was $500,000 I received in 1991. There was the son of a very big businessman. He was a drug dealer. He'd killed a rival gang. There were 23 stab wounds on the body. I wrote traffic accident in the report. Have you ever thought, says Dr. Anderson, what's behind those suspicious death news stories you read in today's papers? Did this system only exist during my time? Number, it continued after I retired. It's still continuing. In 2015, after I retired, my former student Dr. Eric Thompson called. "Professor," he said, "the system hasn't changed. The same phone calls still come. The same threats are made. Not just in Chicago, in New York, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, the same system exists in every city. Even today when you read forensic reports, it says natural death, but there are other truths behind it." Dr. Anderson plays samples from old phone recordings, 1995 recording, unknown voice. "Dr. Anderson, you'll be careful with this file. This man never died." Understood. 1998 recording, Mark Wilson's voice. Dr. Anderson, this girl's family is asking questions. Review the report again. Make sure suicide is definitive. 2001 recording. Unknown. Voice. Doctor, money will be deposited in your account tomorrow. You'll forget about this business. I secretly recorded these, says Dr. Anderson, because I knew I'd use them someday. I'm giving these names tonight because they're still alive. The system is still continuing. Former Police Chief Mark Wilson, living in Miami, Key Biscayne, Villa number 47, I have his phone number. Former DA James Miller, living in Washington, D.C., Georgetown, spending 3 times his retirement salary. I know how. Former Captain John Peterson, living in New York, Manhattan, gated community with private security. Where did this money come from? And today's responsible parties, Dr. Eric Thompson, Chief Medical Examiner, DA Richard Walsh, Police Chief Stephen Clark. The system continues with them. Let me give you current examples, says Dr. Anderson. Journalist Catherine Adams, who died in 2019. The report says heart attack. But I know Dr. Thompson. He wrote that file. Businessman Henry Foster, who died in 2020. It says traffic accident. But there are no brake marks in the car. Teacher Patricia Coleman, who died in 2021. It says suicide. But the rope marks are on her wrists, not her neck. Dr. Thompson writes all of these. Same phone calls, same system. For 40 years, I lied to 347 families, says Dr. Anderson, tears welling up. I looked into the eyes of 347 mothers and fathers and lied. Emily's mother had said to me, "Doctor, did my daughter really commit suicide?" I looked into her eyes and said, "Yes, ma'am, suicide." I never forgot the pain in that mother's eyes. 35 years have passed, I still haven't forgotten. I'm making these confessions because I want forgiveness from those 347 families and because I want to end the system. What needs to be done to stop this system, says Dr. Anderson. First, forensic reports should be audited by independent commissions. Second, the financial status of every forensic pathologist should be examined. There are those living above their salary. Third, autopsy processes should be recorded on camera. There should be no interference. And finally, everyone involved in this system should be held accountable. Old age is not an excusable excuse. There's only one reason I'm in this studio tonight, says Dr. Anderson, to cleanse my conscience before I die. For 40 years, every night I had the same nightmare. The souls of those 347 victims were looking for me. They asked, "Why did you lie?" Maybe after today I can sleep peacefully. These documents, these recordings, these names, all will be submitted to the prosecutor's office. Let justice be served. And I address you. If you have doubts about the death of someone in your family, question the forensic report, because the truth might not be what it seems. I am Robert Anderson. I'm 80 years old. I'm waiting for my death, but I won't take these secrets to my grave. His final words. I address Emily's mother. Ma'am, your daughter didn't commit suicide. They killed her, and I lied for 35 years. I ask for your forgiveness.